Hi, this is J2 here. On this video, I'll be showing you and explaining to you how to set up your IP address and subnet mask for the TCP IPv4. And then the Internet Protocol version 4 uses the dotted decimal, 32-bit source address, 32-bit destination address, and the base 2 number system. Okay, so the first thing I need to make is a subnetting and IP chart. This will be my chart right here. So what I need will be the numbers of address. So number of address. And to get this, I will use the 2 base n power to get this. So start from the right side. It will be 2 to the 0 power, that will be 1. 2 to the first power, that will be 2. 2 to the second power, that will be 4. 2 to the third power, that will be 8. 2 to the fourth power, that will be 16. 2 to the fifth power, that will be 32. 2 to the sixth power, that will be 64. And then 2 to the 7th power, that will be 128. Okay, now I'm going to erase this right here. And then the next thing I need will be the subnet numbers. So subnet number. And then to get this, I'll be using the same equation, 2 base to the n powers. But this time, I'm going to be starting from the left side. And then instead of 2 to the 0 power, I'm going to start to 2 to the first power. And that'll be 2. 2 to the second power, that'll be 4. 2 to the third power, that'll be 8. 2 to the fourth power, that'll be 16. 2 to the fifth power, 32. 2 to the sixth power, 64. 2 to the seventh power, 128. And 2 to the 8th power, that'll be 256. Okay, and the next thing I need will be the host. So how many usable hosts? So host per subnet. And then to get this, I'll be using the equation 2 base to the n power minus 2. So on this one, I'll be starting from the right side again. So since it doesn't have room up here, I'm just going to write down here. So the first one will be 2 to the first power minus 2. That'll be 0, so I'll put 0. And then 2 to the second power minus 2, that'll be 2, so I'll put 2. And then 2 to the third power minus 2, that'll be 6, so I'll put 6. And then 2 to the fourth power minus 2, that'll be 14, so 14. And then 2 to the fifth power minus 2, that'll be 30, so I'll put 30. And then 2 to the 6th power minus 2, that will be 62, so 62. And then 2 to the 7th power minus 2, that will be 126, so 126. And then 2 to the 8th power minus 2, that will be 254, so 254. Okay. Okay, the next thing will be the subnet mask. So subnet mask. And to get this, the first subnet mask plus the IP address. So let's pretend this is 0 right here. And then 0 plus 128, it will be 128. And then 128 plus 64, that will be 192. And then 192 plus 32, that will be 224. And then 224 plus 16, that would be 240. And then 240 plus 8, that would be 248. And then 248 plus 4, that would be 252. And then 252 plus 2, that would be 254. And then 254 plus 1, that would be 255. And last of all will be the binary digit bits used for borrowing. So binary digit use and borrow. So I'm just going to leave all these 0 because this depends on the subnet mask. Okay, so Internet Protocol version 4 have network classes. And this class A, which is ranged from 1 to 126, class B, which is ranged from 128 to 191, and class C, which it is ranged from 192 to 224. And the subnet mask for these right here will be 255.0.0.0 for class A, and then 255.255.0.0 for class B, and then 255.255.255.0 for class C. If you're using class C, this octet will be for the host, and these 3 octet will be for the network. And then, if you're using class B, these 2 octet will be for the host, and these 2 octet will be for the network. And then if you're using class A, this 3 octet will be for the host, and this octet will be for the network. So here it is an example. So if I to be using 192.168.1.1 for the IP address, the subnet mask will be 255.255.255.0. And then this first 2 octet, there will be the network prefix. And this next octet right here will be the subnet numbers. And this last octet will be the host numbers. And then there's one more thing I left out. So if you're to be using class B, right? So the range is actually from 128 to 191. This octet right here can be ranged from 0 to 255. And then if you're to be using class C, this number can be ranged from 192 to 224. And this next 2 octet right here, these 2 octet can be ranged from 0 to 255. Example 1. So the first thing I want to do is put in octet numbers. So I'm just going to pick 192. Which will be class C. So the next octet can be any number from 0 to 255. So I'm just going to pick 168. And the next octet will be the subnet number, and the octet after that will be the host numbers. And since I picked a number from a class C, I will be using the subnet mask, which it is 255.255.255. A subnet mask numbers. And then to get this number, you had to use this chart that I made earlier. So first I'm going to look at is how many IP address or how many subnet masks I'm going to be using. So I'm just going to pick 16. Will give me 16 numbers with 16 subnet numbers, 14 host, and 240 for the subnet mask. So 240 will go right here. And then right here I could pick any numbers from 1 to 16. So I'm just going to pick 1. And for the host, I could pick a total of 14, so I can only pick from 1 to 14, I believe, and I'm just going to pick 2. Example 2, calculate bits borrowed and prefix numbers. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is when you add all these numbers up here, it would add up to 255. So to actually determine the bits being borrowed from the host, you will use the subnet mask, which is that right there. So basically 255, it is 8 bits. Plus 255 8 bits plus another 255, that would be 8 bits. And then 240, you will use this right here to determine it. So it will be 11110000. So it will be 4 bits because you got 41 right here from right there. And then all you do is just add these up, and that will equal 28 bits. And this is how you write it up. So it will be 192.168.1.2/28. Example 3, to determine the network address, broadcast address, and each of the subnet. So again, I'm going to pick a number from up here. So I'm going to pick 32, which will give me 8 subnet numbers, 30 hosts, and 224 for my subnet mask. Now I'm going to write down the network prefix and the subnet numbers. So network prefix is going to be 192.168, and the network prefix will be the subnet, which is actually a total of 8 of them. So the first one, dot, the range of host, and I'm just going to write down the next one, 192.168.2. the range, 192.168.3 the range, and then so 68.4, 192.168.5, 192.168.6, 192.168.7, 192.168.8. And now to get the range for the subnet, I'll be using 32 right here, minus 1 equal 31. And then I'm going to start with 0 plus 31, which will give me 31, and put 32 down here. And 32 plus 31 will give me 63, and 64 go down here. And 64 plus 31 will give me 95, and 96 go down here. And 96 plus 31 will give me 127, and 128 will go down here. And then 128 plus 31 will give me 159, and 159 and 160 right here. And 160 plus 31 will give me 191, and then 192 down here. And 192 plus 31 will give me 223, and then 224 right here. And then 224 plus 31 will give me 255. Every beginning number right here will be the network numbers, and every number at the end right here will be the broadcast numbers. And then any number between the network and the broadcast number will be the host numbers. For example, if I had to be using the first one right here, it would be 192.168.1.30, and then the subnet mask will be 255.255.255.224. Thanks for watching, and hopefully this little video explains how TCP IPv4 works.